डॉक्टर बाबासाहेब आंबेडकर ओपन युनिव्हर्सिटी.
Hello friends, students and learners of Indian poetics. Yesterday we started with a unit which contains Shabda, Shabda Shakti and Arth. We discussed about Shabda yesterday and now today we will discuss Shabda Shakti, word power, and Artha, meaning. Before I start, let me tell you one thing. As a teacher, I feel that we need good students, as a poet needs good bhavakas. In the same way, students require knowledgeable, sensitive, loving teachers. And in the same way, the teachers also need students who are well equipped, well read, well understanding, and rasika, one who can comprehend, understand, and achieve the true rasa by listening, by understanding. So with this introduction to the value of teachers and students, Lord Krishna told Arjun that not only students search for teachers, but teachers need to search for good students. I hope you are all very sensitive students, and please listen to it carefully, because ultimately knowledge is something that helps you all your life. So let us discuss word power, Shabda Shakti. We understand that words express thoughts, feelings, and communicate. When we express our thoughts, we express them through words only. When we express our feelings, we express them through words. So this means that words act as a means of communication. When I want to say something, when I want to communicate something, when I want to express something, I have to use words. And that is why words have great power. Vedas called it omnipresence of the divine. You can simply understand this, that words are so powerful. Words are the true power of the divine. How can we experience divine? How can we feel that the divine is present everywhere? It is through words. Shabda is the omnipresence of the divine. The divine power is the power of God. Divine power is the power of Paramatma, and this Paramatma power can be expressed through words. Bhartrhari says knowledge about the word can be achieved through words only. If we want to know anything which is expressed through words, how can we understand? We can understand through words only. For example, right now, when I am talking to you, I am explaining to you about Shabda Shakti. How can I do it? I can do it through words only. And words have multiple energy, and it can express itself through different words and different types of word power. We will discuss about it later. But these words of Bhartrhari is wonderful, who says that knowledge about words can be achieved through words only. Even about words, if we want to understand something, then we can explain through words only. Words are so powerful, so important in the entire human world. If you study human history, anthropology, you will find that humans are different from other animals because they have words. Other animals do not have words. They, of course, have sounds, birds and animals, but they have very limited communication through sounds. In case of human beings, we have words. Aristotle said, all speech is intended to serve for the communication of ideas. Aristotle's definition or the idea of word power is this. He says that all our language, all our speech, all our Vani serves for the communication of ideas. When we want to convey some idea, when we want to communicate some ideas, we have to use words. And all speech, which include words, have the purpose of serving for the communication of ideas. Words are important for all kinds of people. Even ordinary, uneducated people express themselves through words. Poets, writers, orators, all need words. And words have multiple aspects of power. Ordinary people talk ordinarily because they have to communicate in a limited way. Poets express their feelings and thoughts in a very suggestive manner. Writers also do the same thing. And orators, who are great vaktas, who talk to the people like political leaders or religious leaders. When you listen to a good orator, you are highly impressed. And what is the cause of impression? The cause of impression is words. How they talk, how they use the words. If you listen to great speakers, great orators, you will find this, that they have a deep understanding about words. And words can express their ideas, their views, their opinions, their philosophy in a very beautiful way. Shabda Shakti means word power. Shakti is the power of expression. Shabda Shakti, the word Shabda Shakti, Shabda means word and Shakti means power. Shakti is the power of expression. When you express something, there is the power which attains the deep understanding, deep communication with the listeners, with the readers. When a word is uttered, it creates good or bad impact on listener. When we speak any word, it creates either good or bad impact. If a good word is spoken, it creates good impact. If a bad word is spoken, it creates negative impact on the listener. So this is Shabda Shakti. But Shabda Shakti can be positive or it can be negative as well. If somebody uses bad words for you, naturally you are badly impacted, badly affected. This kind of effect is negative. And that is why Shabda Shakti doesn't simply mean good impact. It also means negative impact also. Because Shabda Shakti must be positive only. When a word is heard, it is comprehended as earth. When we hear a word, we understand the word as earth. If somebody speaks a word, we understand its meaning. And if a word is heard, and if we don't understand the meaning, the word has no meaning. There is no, when you listen to a foreigner, French or German, and if you don't know French or German, you don't understand what he or she says. So, comprehension, understanding of the meaning is not possible without knowledge of the particular word. There are three types of words: Vachak, Lakshak, Vyanjak. Words have three kinds. Vachak, this means that you can read the word or hear the word directly without any new meaning. Table as table, chair as chair, rose as rose, and so on. Lakshak is different. It has not only direct meaning, but it has idiomatic meaning, which is not the direct meaning, but a different meaning. When we use idioms or proverbs, proverbs present some idea, but it is lakshak. When you use the word like, when you say that he is a monkey, you want to say that he is naughty, notorious, and so on. This simply means that he is not a real monkey, but he acts like a monkey. He behaves like a monkey. So the word monkey often denotes a different kind of meaning. And third and the highest importance of word is Vyanjak. Vyanjak is a suggestive meaning, which is used in poetry, which is used in literature, which is used in even all kinds of arts, because arts do not present direct meaning, but it presents suggestive meaning. There are three types of meanings. There are three types of words, and there are three types of artha also. They are vachyartha. Whatever you understand by reading or by hearing, that is vachyartha. Lakshyartha, as I told you, is about idiomatic use of language, and it has lakshyartha, which is not a direct meaning. It is not even suggestive meaning, but it is rudhi prayoga, which we find in Hindi, Gujarati, and almost every language. When somebody says, I am talking to the air, I want to say that I am talking to myself alone. I am not talking to anybody, but it is a soliloquy, talking to one's own self, which often takes place in a drama. That is lakshyartha. And vyangyartha is a poetic meaning, suggestive meaning, multiple meaning, and highly important for all kinds of arts, particularly poetry and literature in general. As there are three types of words, there are three types of meanings, and there are three kinds of Shabda Shakti. Even Shabda Shakti, the power of words, have three types. First is Abhidha Shabda Shakti. Abhidha means direct, denotative. I had already given you the example that when you use the word table, it means table only. When you say rose, it means rose only. It is denotative. It denotes. Lakshana Shabda Shakti is indicative power. It is not a denotative power, but it is indicative power, which has lakshak meaning, lakshyartha, and this lakshyartha is presented in a rudhi type, proverbial, idiomatic. The word rudhi in Sanskrit means traditional, proverbial. All people belonging to certain language knows about it. So this is called indicative power, which is not a meaning like Abhidha, not a direct meaning or denotative meaning. It has a different meaning, but which is based on idiomatic background or proverbial. And the third is Vyanjana Shabda Shakti. Vyanjana Shabda Shakti means poetic, suggestive power. We take more examples of three kinds of Shakti. Abhidha Shabda Shakti is a communication of direct meaning, primary meaning. It is vachyartha. It can be understood by all. Now, Abhidha Shabda Shakti is the primary meaning. When you use the word like table or chair, man or woman, it is understood by all, those who know the particular language. It is understood by all. There is no deeper meaning. There is no hidden meaning. It has a direct vachyartha meaning. Vachyartha means the meaning that you can read. So that is Abhidha Shabda Shakti. There are three types of Abhidha Shabda Shakti. Rudh, that is tradition. Yogic, which is combination of affixes. Affixes means prefixes and suffixes. Prefixes are used before word and suffixes are used after words. For example, when you say postgraduate, the word post means after graduation. Post means after. It is prefix, pre, post, un, dish, etc. In English language we use as prefixes and they create new words. As I told you, when we say post-graduation or postgraduate, it means after. It is called prefix. And suffix means that is added at the end. For example, when we use the word like happiness, ness is suffix and ness is used in English very often as a suffix to create abstract noun out of happy. Happy is an adjective and happiness is abstract noun. And the third is yog root. It is a combination of tradition and combination of affixes. It presents primary meaning. The example is when you say Moti is reading a book, Sarita is knitting a sweater. Now there is no hidden meaning. It is a direct meaning. What is Moti doing? Moti is reading a book. What is Sarita doing? She is knitting a sweater. It presents direct meaning. Lakshana Shabda Shakti is a change in primary meaning. In Lakshana Shabda Shakti, there is a change in primary meaning. Not a primary meaning is presented directly, but there is a change in it. For example, Hari is a monkey. Now here, Hari does not mean real monkey. Hari is a boy. And when you say Hari is a monkey, here monkey refers to foolish person, not an animal. Hari here is used as a foolish person, naughty person, mischievous, and not as an animal. This is called Lakshana Shabda Shakti. Lakshana Shabda Shakti also has two types. Rudha Lakshana is based on tradition or custom, proverbial or idiomatic. It is called Rudha Lakshana. For example, he is talking to air. This means that he is talking to himself. There is nobody. He is alone and is just walking and talking. We sometimes see people talking to themselves. Even their lips are moving. Even if the lips are not moving, he might be talking to himself in his mind. So it is like talking to air because there is nobody, no person, but only air. As I told you in drama, there is soliloquy, ekokti, swagatokti. In swagatokti, a character comes on the middle of the stage and talks alone. Actually, he wants to convey what he is thinking to the audience, to the spectators. Number 2 is Prayojanvati Lakshana. Prayojanvati Lakshana has a special purpose with a different meaning. For example, when we say the ashram is in the Ganga, actually ashram is not in the river, not in the Ganga, but it is near Ganga. If you go to Haridwar or Rishikesh, and if you see an ashram on the bank of the river, you can say ashram is in the Ganga. It is just very near on the bank of the river. So it is called Prayojanvati Lakshana. Vyanjana Shabda Shakti. Vyanjana Shabda Shakti has a suggestive meaning. And there also there are two types, Shabdi Vyanjana and Arthi Vyanjana. Shabdi Vyanjana is created by words and Arthi Vyanjana is created by meanings. And you must understand this properly, that Vyanjana Shabda Shakti is lifeblood of poetry. Actually, without Vyanjana, there would be no poetry. Poetry can be generated through Vyanjana only, because Vyanjana is a suggestive meaning. Now we come to another topic called Artha. Artha means meaning or sense. Word and meaning are interrelated. Word and meaning are inseparable. They are interrelated. When we learn any language, we learn words and their meanings, and they get imbibed in our mind. And once they get into your minds, you hear that word and understand that particular meaning. So word and meaning are interrelated. Comprehension of words or sentence. Now in Artha, actually when words are presented in sentences, we understand them. So the purpose of words is to express meanings. Union and harmony of Shabda and Arth create happiness. And how do we become happy? When we listen to something, because there is a harmony of Shabda and Artha. Word and meaning, they create happiness. Shabda has an element of spot. Patanjali has said this. He says that Shabda has an element which is called spot, sound, acoustic. And this sound creates Shabda. And this spotter creates meaning also. Shabda has two entities, articulated sound and expressed meaning. In a word, in a Shabda, there are two entities, two parts. One is articulated sound. When we speak any word, there is a sound and it has a meaning which is expressed through Artha. There is permanent relationship between Shabda and Artha. The relationship between Shabda and Artha is permanent, eternal. I had earlier told you that Shabda and Artha are often regarded as Shiva Parvati. Shiva and Parvati are great couple who are inseparable, who are the greatest couple in the world who live and love together. Such deep love, deep identity, deep merging of heart and understanding and love is called Shiva Parvati. And that is why Shiva is presented as Devadhideva and Parvati is presented as Adya Shakti. So there is a permanent relationship between Shabda and Artha. Bhartrhari emphasized on sound pattern as primary aspect of Shabda. Bhartrhari emphasized more on sound rather than meaning. There are three folds of Artha: Vakyartha, Lakshyartha and Vyanjartha. Now, we have already discussed it. Vakyartha is a primary sense which you read and understand. It conveys the primary meaning, and it has two types, Rudhi and Prayojan Lakshana. And the second is Lakshana or Lakshyartha. Lakshyartha has a different meaning from primary meaning, and it has two types, Rudhi and Prayojan Lakshana. We have already discussed it, and that is why we need not repeat it. Vyanjana Artha is suggested meaning or essence of words, and that is why it is essence of poetry. Suggested sense dominates over the literal meaning, and suggested meaning is more powerful and it dominates over the literal meaning. Literal meaning becomes unimportant, suggested meaning becomes important. Literal meaning is like body of a woman, and suggested meaning is like beauty and grace. Sensitive person can realize such a meaning, and who can understand Vyanjanartha? Vyanjanartha can be comprehended by sensitive person, Sahradaya person, and Sahradaya person is Pragyavan, that is wise, Pratibhavan and Shalin. Pragyavan means wise, Pratibhavan means genius, and Shalin means cultured. And such a person should also be intellectual and resourceful. For grammarians, functions of words are quite important. Grammarians always said that Lakshana Vritti is grammarian functions of words. For grammarians, words are the part of sentences. Poetry is connected with meaning. Poetic beauty depends on meaning and not on arrangement of words. In poetry, there is no arrangement of words like in grammar. When in grammar we say, this is a table, there is a sentence which is arranged according to the rules of grammar. In poetry, there is no rule of grammar. There is not a fixed arrangement. The arrangement is creative, and that is why it is poetry. In poetry, Vachan and Vakya Ukti are synonymous. Vakya Yukti means the meaning of the word, and Vachan are synonymous. Grammarians define sentences. They say that when words are combined in an arranged manner, it becomes a sentence. Single verb sentence is called Ekatin. Ekatin means, for example, I am a retired professor. Now this is a single verb sentence. There is only one verb. I am. To be is the verb. Poetry follows the rules of grammar generally, but often makes changes and innovations. In poetry, of course, it is not ungrammatical. Rules of grammar are followed by poetry, but in a general manner, and a poet often makes changes. And these changes are necessary because poetry is always innovative. And the key words of this topic are Shabda, Artha, Vritti means practice, Sphota means blast, Ukti means speech, Abhidha means primary meaning, Lakshana means secondary power of words, Vyanjana suggestive power, and Shabda Shakti the power of words. So with this we end our lecture, and please read more about it. You will find several reference books that will help you to understand all these ideas, all these views of Indian poetics. Thank you very much. Thank you.
स्वाध्यायः परमं तप